Welcome to Thinking Women,
the Intelligent Conversation Show.
I'm Lou.
And I'm Mags, and welcome to our October edition of the show.
As usual, we've got an amazing lineup for you. I'm talking to Lucy Blenkinsopp, a women's empowerment and recovery coach. Now, Lucy talks about eliminating alcohol completely from our lives. So, an amazing person to talk to in Stoptober.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be very interesting.
Really interesting.
Oh, and we've got music.
Oh yeah, we've got music on the show. So we're going to end today's show with the beautiful, lovely voice of Daisy Clarke. If you remember Daisy, she went viral in about 2017 on Facebook with her cover of Hopelessly Devoted to You. Do you remember that? So we're going to talk to her about how life has been since then and what she's up to.
Very much looking forward to that. So, what's been in your inbox this month, Lou?
This is my favourite bit, as usual. Well, being the fashionista that I think I am, I have found the ultimate autumn accessory.
Go on.
And it is, have a look at this. This is ankle scarves.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Do you think you'll be...
They're sweet. I mean, I remember the ankle warmers.
Yeah, leg warmers, yeah.
Popular ankle warmers, leg warmers back in the 80s.
Bit more going on.
That was right, yeah. But I mean, I think socks have had the edge for a while, haven't they?
You know, why would you do this if you've got socks? I have to say. But, you know, as an accessory...
Yeah.
Granny knitting them, little
cute.
job for Granny over lockdown.
Definitely cute. So, and on a similar trend, I mean, we do love the weird and the wacky, and it's sort of become a bit of a mission for me to find the weirdest thing that people have been doing. So, in my inbox, we've got the Sinky. Take a look at this.
That is weird. Yeah.
Well,
and why? Again, why?
Maybe if you've got too much time on your hands, but you know, why not make your sink look pretty? So, if you've made a sink at home and you want to send in a picture of it, then do so. Or if you've got some ankle warmers going on. Anyway,
let's see them.
Over to our first guest.
So in October, lots of us choose to do Stoptober, where we stop drinking, or Sober October. But I'm joined today by the lovely Lucy Blenkinsopp, who hasn't just stopped for October. You do not drink at all. And Lucy is an empowerment coach and a recovery coach, and you advocate not drinking for many reasons long term. So we're going to talk about that. So, but first of all, tell me what an empowerment and recovery coach is.
Well, I work one-to-one with women, and it's nearly all midlife women. Because in order to feel empowered, you need to find your alignment. So it's working on everything. It's nutrition, it's yoga, exercise, breathing, meditation. And in order to really feel aligned and empowered, you need to stop drinking alcohol, to really lean into your feelings, your true feelings, and to know where you are. And you can't do that if you're drinking.
And I find it fascinating. I'm sure all our audience are going to find this fascinating too, because I'm a midlife woman and a lot of people who watch the show are. So it's so relevant. And I found, in my line of work as well, because I do some nutrition, that quite a lot of us actually drink more, are sort of driven to drink more during midlife to, in theory, cope with the problems that we have. So why do we do that, do you think?
Well, that's an absolute vicious circle, because alcohol messes with your hormones, and obviously in midlife your hormones are messed with in any case. So, and also in your 40s, there's lots of reasons for giving up alcohol. There's many. There's brain health. So all the symptoms of menopause, like brain fog, memory, thickening waist, disrupted sleep, hot sweats, they are all, in fact, the same symptoms that you might get from alcohol, so from a hangover. So people get mistaken and they blame menopause, whereas actually, often, it's the alcohol that's causing the problem.
That's interesting.
Yes. So when you need to stop for a decent amount of time, and though I think Stoptober is amazing, 30 days is just the start. And in my opinion, 90 days is like the magic number.
Okay.
And if you stop for 90 days, then you start to see what's on the other side.
But for a lot of people, it's difficult just to stop. Like society, the sort of things that are coming at us from society, from our culture, in the UK, we are a culture of drinkers,
Yeah.
and everywhere you go. So how do you sort of coach people through that sort of side, not just the physical side of it, but the sort of cultural, psychological side of it?
It is, and you need to have a toolbox, and you need to have a toolbox that's right for you. And often, if you know, because the thing is, you can't compare your drinking to your partners, to your husbands, to your friends, because we're all so very, very different, and our tolerance level is very different. There's not many people who are moderate drinkers. Now, moderate drinkers used to be the granny who has a drink at Christmas, her sherry. But now people think moderate drinking is just drinking at the weekends, but that isn't moderate. Moderate is about one drink every 2 weeks. I mean, it's a tiny amount. Literally,
well, this is why it's quite shocking, because I will literally
shocking.
not drink all week, but probably will binge drink as the weekend. But I'm kind of like, well, I don't drink for 5 days, so I'm perfectly okay. So you're saying this is...
Yes.
This
well,
is
the
not good.
thing is, it's a spectrum, okay? There's rock bottom and there's moderate. And you don't have to be either. You're in this spectrum of grey area drinking. We call it the grey area drinkers, which is what I was, where you're not drinking to blackout in any stretch of the imagination, but you're drinking regularly, like maybe 1 or 2 a night, you know, most nights a week, or 4 nights a week, 3 nights a week. But that, for your whole body to be processed, bearing in mind that ethanol is the same stuff we've got in our hand sanitizers. It's in rocket
You wouldn't
fuel.
be drinking your hand sanitizer, that's for sure.
No, but the gin companies are actually making the hand sanitizers. And
because it's the same thing.
It's the same stuff. Ethanol, it's in paint stripper, it's in your fuel that you put in your car. So what I do with my coaching is really try and change the way you think about it. So there is no denial. Because if you're going through the month thinking, I can't wait till the 1st of November, all you're doing is denying yourself. And giving up drinking is not about denying. It's about making it so small that you love yourself much more, and you think, you know, I'm worth it. I don't want to numb myself, because that's what it does. It numbs your sparkle. You lose your sparkle.
Well, see, this is the thing, though, isn't it? I think a lot of people would argue that, you know, their lifestyle is such that they have lots of events and parties, and oh, you know, it's so much more fun. It's boring not to drink. I'm so much more fun when I have a drink. I want to live, you know, I want to have a good time, and it's considered boring not to drink. So we have to sort of deal with that. So how do we deal with that?
But let me just say, I think the best gift you can give to yourself, to your family, to your friends, is to be present. And as soon as you have a drink, without sounding really pious, and I hope not really pious, but you know, like, to be present and to be there is really important. And so, yes, how do you deal with it? So you decide at first that you just want to try and see if it makes a difference to your sleep. See if it makes a difference to your weight, to your brain fog, to your memory, to your vocabulary even. And maybe even you might feel more alive, more free. I certainly did. And I haven't been drinking for like 4 years, but I am much more likely to dance on a tabletop completely sober than I ever was when I was having a drink. Because when I had a drink, I was always so worried that I might be drunk, you know. So I think, I shouldn't do that. But now I'm so like in alignment with myself, and I can trust myself to say the right things and be whoever I want to be, that, you know, it set me free.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. But it's just going through, I think for a lot of people, it's going from that, you know, wanting and I'm sure everyone who's watching this show will completely understand what you're saying, Lucy. But then it's the next stage of actually going through with it for a long period of time. When those triggers are coming into us, that little person who goes, oh, come on, you know, I've got a beautiful wine, oh, I've got some champagne, or whatever is going to sort of like the little devil that's going to take us over.
There are lots of tools, and that's why people use me like a coach to help them. And you do need a little toolbox, and we have some. There's one called HALT, so HALT. So you think, you know, if you're going to a party, you must make sure that you're not hungry, H, angry, A, L, lonely, or T, tired, because those may be your triggers.
Things that are going to
make you want to have a drink. So when you first give up, you write a journal maybe even and see what your triggers are. And a lot of people, it's boredom. But actually, it's really good for you to be bored. When we were children, we often used to get bored and, you know, stare out the window, but people don't do that anymore.
And kids don't drink.
Well, kids don't drink.
But they will go to something. But probably definitely what happens to children is they'll start building a Lego or creating something. And maybe that's another great positive side effect of not being hungover or tired with drinking, is that you're aware to start maybe painting or designing or doing something that's actually going to be positive.
Exactly that. I mean, we definitely, in part of my coaching, we find your creative side, and we remember what we used to do before we drank every night and watched mindless TV. So it might be, you know, colouring or painting jigsaws even, you know, whatever it is, or reading, you know. So there's lots of things that you might suddenly just remember that you used to love to do. And you have so much more energy when you're not drinking, and you have so much more time. It's amazing. So you have the time to create hobbies, side hustles, and decide who you are, who you want to be, where you're going, and how you're going to get there.
And for a midlife woman, this is incredibly empowering. So going back to what we started talking about, this empowerment idea is if you have got yourself back, then you're not going to feel like a second-rate, you know, this is what things people say, it's like, I've forgotten myself, I've forgotten who I used to be, I'm a shadow of my former self, I can't do all the things that I used to do. So how about, ladies, cutting out the booze and giving yourselves the chance to find that again?
Exactly. I mean, exactly. You got it in a nutshell, because this is the time when you hit your 50s, and I'm going to be 60 in a couple of weeks.
Can you believe? I mean, you are an absolute shining example of what, you know, I mean, you look amazing, and you're very, I mean, you must follow Lucy on Instagram as well, Tea with Lucy B, because she's fantastic. You're so on it. So, you know, you are a perfect example, I would say, of practicing what you preach and looking fab and being fab. So,
but it's just the beginning. And honestly, in Asia, they celebrate coming to 60 with this celebration called Kanriki, where you hand over the keys of responsibility and you decide how you want to spend your life. And I think this is what menopause does. This is a midlife to have this transformation where you can decide, I want to start up a business, I want to build an orphanage, I want to go trekking, well, you can't go traveling at the moment, but you know, you can really think about who you want to be. And retirement, to me, of the thought of retiring and having a glass of rosé at lunchtime is quite depressing, because there's so much more. And, you know, you can do anything, and it's just the beginning. And I really believe that it's never too late to be whoever you want to be. It's never.
Well, I think it's exciting. And actually just listening to you, I'm like, I want to be that person. I want to do that. And that's the thing, isn't it? Is making the sobriety more exciting, more fun, more challenging, more giving than actually just the slow, tired decline, numbing.
And also, I think this is one little slant on it, is actually it's one of the most rebellious things I've ever done, because I've always been a rebel, and I've been a party girl and a drinker, and you know, I've had some fun. But I think that not drinking is rebellious, because I'm going against the grain, I'm not following the crowd, I'm going on a path less travelled, and I'm being a maverick. I'm free thinking, I'm thinking about how I want to live my life. I'm living deliberately with clear intentions on who I want to be, and that is empowering.
I love that, and I love that whole, I'm going to take that one on board as well, because I feel like I'm a bit of a rebel as well, so I don't want to take that one on board. But interesting you say, we've talked about sobriety with midlife, women particularly, but the trend with younger people as well tends to be that they're drinking a lot less.
Yes.
A lot. So just to wrap up, what, you know, we've touched on the old bin, we understand that. Why are the younger people, is it just because they're better educated? Do they understand the downsides of alcohol? Or maybe they just can't afford it, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, I've noticed that younger people don't drink as much. I think the absolute classics is midlife women. I think we probably are the biggest demographic of drinkers. And men, obviously, they drink, but it doesn't affect them so much because they still have their testosterone until their 70s. Whereas women, our hormones, and if you're taking HRT and you're still drinking, then you're messing with your HRT as well. So don't get away from that. So it's just really bad for midlife women. That's when you really notice the switch. And that's also when the platelets for dementia start to form in your brain. And it is always around menopause. And alcohol, of course, messes with those hormones. So, you know, for me, dementia was a big driver for giving up alcohol. It scared me so much. So, you know, I think if you've ever done a hair of the dog, you know, had a drink because you wanted to get rid of your hangover, then, you know, you have to ask yourself, why are you doing that? Why are you poisoning yourself with poison? Yeah. To get over the poison.
I know. When you sit and talk of it logic like that,
I know.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sold. So for anybody out there who's doing Stoptober, we wish you luck.
Yes.
Keep going for another 60 days, maybe.
No, we all do lots of 30 days. I did lots of dry Januaries and Stoptobers before I actually gave up for good. Yeah. But then I realised I was laughing deeper and more authentically harder when I was sober. And I was just like, why am I drinking? And also abstaining is easier than moderating, to be honest.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting because you've got that in your head that you just...
It's just no question. It's just I don't drink.
And we're a rebel. Let's be rebellious, sober, midlife women. I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucy, thank you so much. Absolutely fascinating. And if anybody is, as we're saying, if you're doing Stoptober, we wish you luck.
Yes.
Keep going. Don't worry about Christmas.
Don't give up. Never question the decision. That's what I would say.
Brilliant, brilliant advice. Lucy, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So cast your mind back to 2017 and on YouTube there was an amazing sensation which was Daisy Clarke, a young girl from Cornwall who was about 16 years old at the time, was shot to fame for her cover of Hopelessly Devoted to You. We are delighted to have the lovely Daisy in the studio with us playing a couple of songs today, and the first one she's going to play is a new one from her which is called Hope It Hurts You.
Tell your friends the truth when they ask what did you do. Tell them that I won't see them around. None of it mattered, the things that were wrong, 'cause you made it shatter, and it hurts but I'm strong. One day I'll be happy with someone that's not you. You'll always carry this, and I hope it hurts you. You always said this is how you show your love. You can't have ever loved me quite enough. You had the nerve to ask me about a guy just to you didn't feel like this when you were in between the sheets with another girl that I don't know. Well, none of it matters, the things that were wrong, 'cause you made it shatter, and it hurts but I'm strong. One day I'll be happy with someone that's not you. I hope it hurts.
That was amazing. So nice. Thank you.
you.
But tell us what happened. So how did you go from presumably being a young girl in Cornwall playing your music to being a superstar?
So I started all on YouTube a very long time ago. Posted some very cringy videos of me singing in my bedroom, but eventually I just got more and more into it, and I had a few covers that did really well, surprisingly, specifically the Hopelessly Devoted to You video that got a lot of views on Facebook.
How many views did it get?
I think in the end it was around 12 million.
Wow.
Wow.
Which was really weird.
How did that viral thing, how does that work?
It just kept getting shared. Like, it did really well on YouTube, and then it was shared on Facebook, and it just kept going. And yeah, it was just crazy. And then I had loads of opportunities come off the back of that, with loads of different people, loads of music making. It was a crazy year, really. And yeah, I was very grateful for everything I got out of it.
But how old were you at the time?
I was around 17.
So 17 for that.
Yeah.
And so do you think you were thrown in the deep end?
Absolutely, especially being from Cornwall, because I was going up to London all the time by myself, which I'd never really done, and going to all these places, and I had a new management at the time, and just like loads of different things. It was really crazy.
Did you feel you had any help? Enough help? Were you supported enough?
I mean,
as a young girl?
Yeah, definitely, like with my family and stuff. Like, I think maybe a lot of like industry people don't really notice as much because they don't really realise how big of a step it is from like down here especially. And I was a bit like, this is a lot. But I had loads of amazing people around me, so it was honestly amazing.
And what were the highlights of that year?
I definitely think the press week was crazy because I got to go on so many different shows that like I'd loved when I was younger, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is mad. I also went to a party just before the Brits, which Ray was performing at, and there was loads of cool people there, and I was like, this is so weird.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So did you meet famous people?
I mean,
I know it's such a cringy question, but like, which famous people did you meet?
I mean,
Who's the most famous person you met?
Who's the most famous person I've met? Oh my God, I don't even know.
You have a fan in a famous person, though, don't you? Billie Eilish?
Oh my goodness,
I do believe. Tell me that story.
That was crazy because I was in London at the time at BBC Introducing Live, which is like a music event. So I was going up and like doing all this networking and playing and meeting loads of cool musicians. And I had this random email from Glamour magazine. It was like from New York or something. And they were like, can we have a call with you like at like 11 o'clock tonight? And I was like, yeah, okay, why not? So I got on Skype with this lady, and she was like, can you just react to this video and just see what you think? And it was Billie Eilish pretty much telling me that she wanted me to sing her to sleep. And I was like, oh my goodness. And she called me like a burrito because she loves Mexican food. And I was just like, what is happening?
And is that because she's obviously seen you or heard you?
Yeah,
But did you do a cover of one of her songs? Or?
Yeah, so I posted a cover of Bellyache, which is one of her songs on YouTube. And then it got picked up by them, and then she watched it. And now this is one that's done really well. So all the covers have done really well for me, actually.
And you did Avril Lavigne's Complicated. That was a huge hit as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that one I did with a part of a label who were doing things for Love Island at the time. So in Love Island, they always have the covers or the songs in the background, which are for the emotional moments. So I did Complicated, and it was played in Love Island Australia, which was really cool. And this week it just hit 1 million streams as well. So that was awesome.
Amazing.
Fabulous. Wow.
But moving forward, obviously, we know you for those covers that are huge hits, but you write your own songs. So the two songs that you've done, that one you've done already and the one you're going to end with, are your songs, that you've always written your own songs. So how difficult is it to let everybody know within that, you're really well known for the covers, but actually I write my own songs too. Is it hard to break through when you're known for one thing?
Kind of. I think because I've always done my covers with just me and a guitar or me and a piano, and my songs are kind of have that vibe as well, people still really like my own stuff too. Like, I think if I was doing some crazy production on my own songs, then maybe it would be a bit different, but they are kind of the same style and very stripped back, and that's always how I've played and what I've enjoyed. And I guess I'm just lucky to have quite a good solid fan base who will listen to my stuff as well.
Do you ever fancy changing it up a bit and having a band with you, just doing a little bit?
Absolutely.
Different?
I think I would definitely have something like that in the future, with like festivals and stuff and bigger gigs. And I have been in the studio recently doing a few little bit of different bits, but it always keeps with the essence of being stripped back and quite organic.
But that's your style.
Yeah.
So you have to stay with your style.
Absolutely.
Wow, what a story. So, and obviously with lockdown, things are really tricky. So how have things been different as a musician, and what have you been doing to keep busy?
Well, usually my summers are super busy, especially in Cornwall with all the festivals and it's just usually so busy, but I have had hardly as many gigs as I usually do, which has been really sad. I mean, it has been good to do a few here and there, obviously socially distanced and with all the precautions, but it doesn't quite hit the same as normal, if you know what I mean. Like, I just did one at the Bedford in London and everyone was kind of spaced out. I mean, it was still amazing and I loved it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some real gigs again and, you know, getting back into it.
And of course, the other hot news at the moment is Rishi Sunak suggests that all artists and musicians need to retrain as something. So, well, what could that possibly be? Have you thought about that new career, brain surgery? I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, well, my career aspirations were always music, dancing or acting, like all the creatives. So all my other options are literally in that field. So I don't know, I guess I'm just out of luck.
And how angry has it made you feel? Because I know a lot of people who are in the arts, that's made them very, very angry, understandably, because you train very hard for what you do. What you put into your career is huge behind the scenes. So does it make you at all angry, or are you young enough to brush it off?
Well, I've been doing this for years, and I can imagine a lot of dancers, like the kind of photo showed, and a lot of people that are in theatre and any kind of creative outlet have been doing this for years, and I would not want to be told to do something else after putting so much work in. So
it is the work,
of course,
isn't
it's got
it?
to be
And
really
it starts
frustrating.
when you're so young. So being able to be a musician, an accomplished musician, it isn't a case of just going to do 3 years at university, is it? It starts.
And what would we have done in lockdown without all the entertainment stuff and all the creative music and all
Just
that?
take that all away, everybody. You'll have nothing. You'll have nothing as a culture. Well, it'll all change, and I'm sure, you know, you're not going to have to retrain as a brain surgeon. I'm sure you're not, because we will be out of this soon. So we're going to end on a song, another song, which is one of your songs, which is called Battlescars. Before you start that song, tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind the song.
So I wrote this kind of just being about reassuring people that you'll be there for them, which I think is quite nice, especially at this time. Yeah, it's just kind of like my little love song, my maid love song, really. Yeah, and it's nice because it's a piano song as well, because I'm getting more into piano, but I'm going to play acoustic today. And yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you.
It's lovely. It's such a treat having you here.
Oh,
yeah, lovely. So thank you to our other guest today, Lucy, who is amazing.
And yeah, that's it for another show, isn't it, Lou?
Thanks so much. Another amazing show. I think we'd agree.
Absolutely. Get in touch if you've got any comments. We'd love to hear from you all, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, and take it away, Daisy.
I stand next to you, through and through. Open your eyes and you'll see there is nothing else I'd rather do. A lost soul begins to break, and I knew I'd been staying from the moment that you was. I knew that I'd follow, however long time passed. I think you know deep inside, battle scars still in your mind. So I tell you now, I don't have a doubt I'll come home to you, no matter what we do. I will find a way, 'cause I'm not ready to say goodbye at any time soon. You have no worries, 'cause you're all I see in everything. Oh, always in my mind. You will find a girl who won't struggle to breathe. And I knew I'd be staying from the moment that you are. wanna tell you now, I don't have a doubt I'll come home to you. No matter what we do, I will find a way, 'cause I'm not ready to say goodbye at any time. Everything's happening, but you won't be left behind. Everything leads back to you.